Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Bokang Jiyane, and this is Let's Talk, baby. And if it's your first time here, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell next to it so that you can get a notification every time I post a new video. Young Tola. And obviously, if you're just listening in on any of the DS, please rate us a 5-star now already before you hear the episode and what's going on. And then obviously, tell us what we can improve on if there's anything you think we can improve on. Marabana. We're going in. It's been a minute, it's been a while. But like I said, guys, we're going to figure this thing out. It's not easy. Also because, you get me? Let me just fix myself there. Wanna get much. On. Cool, guys. So I think if you see the title of this podcast or this episode, I think it's very evident Uguti Wenza Galani, and it's just a rundown of my dance journey this year leading up to the World Champs, right? It's audio-wise, it is gonna sound a bit weird, I think, for those who are listening via audio. But I will encourage you to go just have the visuals, just to make sense of what's going on. But I think it will be predominantly audio-based, me speaking about the experience and everything. If it's not hardy, it was not my intention. It just is the nature of this video, and what I wanted to share just leaned towards this young tall. Anyways, moving into it. Before we start, how am I doing? I'm well. I am well. All things considered, I think there was a moment this year where, like recently, having come back from the World Champs and off of everything, like the YFM be the next competition and everything, where it felt really like I was on a high, and then I came back, and then it was school, it was this, that, and the third thing, and it was just a lot. And I think it was about sometime last week where it was the first time since where I could just breathe and really, I don't want to say interpret, but rather receive and come to terms with what's been happening around me, right? The good things, the not so good things, and how I really need to receive, and I forgot the word's not landing, but it's just kind of just bringing myself towards myself with everything that's going on, celebrating the small wins, the big wins, and everything in between. Young Tola. So besides that, I mean, life is life, and guys, I think the biggest thing recently is learning to be happy, and just encouraging people around me to understand that the year's not over. You'll start resting at December, when things have really closed. I think for the rest of November and the first 1 week or 2 weeks of December, I want to encourage people, just lock in, that New Year's resolution you haven't started, that you're whatnot, go start it, bro. There's nothing stopping you from starting. The year's not done. So much to start. You're obviously not going to reach whatever goal you had. If you wanted $1 million, you're not going to get $1 million now, but go get that 50 tower, your 50 thou closer to your $1 million. All right. That's kind of the perspective I'm coming through with right now is, you're not near where you want to be, but you're closer than you were yesterday. So whatever dreams you have, whatever idea you wanted to start, or whatever concept you think it's too late to start, it's not, just start to me, or do whatever that needs to be done. If it's Gila, make sure that you're rocking those exams, whatever it is, right? Just don't give up. The year is not over. That being said, that's why we're back on the podcast. I was deeping it the other time that I was like, no, I'll just come back stronger next year. And I was like, why am I waiting? Why am I waiting for next year where I can just really just come about now and rock, and chilling the other day, and I was just like, let me just do it. Young Tola. And something I want to due, or rather it's the time of the show, as you all know. It's Poem of the Week. Now, Poem of the Week is the time of the show where I share a poem out of the many files that I have of poetry that I've written. And I always try to share a new poem, or a poem maybe you haven't heard. And yeah, man, maybe we'll chop about it in a bit. The poem I have, this one is untitled, but this is how it goes. It goes, you told me you aren't ready for a relationship. If I had a cent for every woman who told me that I would be... Let's run that back. Okay, this is how it goes. You told me you aren't ready for a relationship. If I had a cent for every woman who told me that, I would be wealthy. I know that says a lot. What you may think, it is not. But you have had my heart in a knot. The feelings off I have fought, so I ought. Due to you being my every thought, this I have sought. So my shot I shot. By any means it was not short, it was a long shot. Still with the mild signs I was glad to have caught, leading me to hope to you to court. As my heart I brought with the flowers I bought. I won't lie, right now I am a tad distraught. 1 + 1 is not 2. Everything is in the air and the ball is in your court. But charge of the game I will take until we caught, or something like that. Guys, you guys already know by now. If you're not, now you know. Like I love writing poetry and particularly love poems, or romantic poems rather. And this one was really about oh my days. This one girl that I had a crush on. Long story short, I felt like she was throwing or giving signs. And they were not obvious, but they were also not obvious, right? That's why in the poem, they were mild signs. And for me, if you know me, like, I don't catch signs. Like John Cena, bro, you can't see me for real. Like, I don't catch them, right? So the fact that I caught these mild signs, so to speak, was a bit of a miracle, so to say, for me. So I was just like, hey, man, I see these signs that you're throwing. Let's do something. Let's rock, right? Long story short, I bought this girl flowers. And I'd asked her out on a date, which she agreed to. And it was a bit weird because I was like, does she like me? Does she not? And obviously in the beginning of the poem, I mentioned how she said she's not ready for a relationship, right? But one thing I realized is, especially in this age group of mine of early 20s and whatnot, like everybody says that. Every girl I meet, every second girl I meet says they're not ready for a relationship. So that's why I say, like, if I had a cent for every person who told me that, you know, I'd be wealthy. And I know it says a lot, but it's not what you think. I get Lala Strata like that because I know what it implies as well, right? Yeah. So long story short, I was just saying, like, bro, if you're serious, let's rock. Obviously, the ball is in your court, which is what I told her. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait actually for you to do something. I'm going to rock because I'm serious about you. And hopefully something can happen. Obviously, the goal is your courtship, which is crazy. I'm actually a bit wild for the poems I write. But I said, yo, man, even if it's something like a situation, but obviously that's not how any of that planned out. We didn't end up going on that date. And life just goes on, you know. Vibe, guys. Like, but hey, man, I'm a hopeless romantic of note. One day. But what's yours will never miss you. Or maybe I just have the calling of Paul. Was it Paul? Of Peter. Was it Paul? I think it was Paul. You know, but it's better not to marry or to jola. And I hear that. I hear my brother Saul. I hear you, Paulita. But anyways, that's that for Poem of the Week. Hope you enjoyed that. Now getting into the chat of today is obviously the journey to the World Championships. And man, that was lovely. I have been struggling to communicate to people how that experience has been and the perspective I'm trying to come from, and I'm gonna try on this episode to explain that the best way I can. And first and foremost is I've been dancing since I was about 8 years old, right? And one thing about me is always I've been wanting to learn and grow, um, but one thing about studio dancing for me that I realized it's really, yeah, it's a money thing for the most part to like learn, get classes, get opportunities. Like anything in life, I blame capitalism, right? You just need to invest something so that you can get something out. And for a while, later on when I was about 14, I didn't have that luxury I once had to continue dancing. But luckily, the studio I was at had like a development program of sorts, which allowed us to like attend classes and, look at getting sponsors to have those opportunities to go abroad and compete and this, that, and the third. And I've been able to compete abroad and locally. And it's been great. It's been great, right? Then came 2016, where we went abroad. I think this was the last time at the time before this year. I'd competed, did well that year. Also, first time winning a solo championship and having made it to the finals and even won for the battle section, right? The battle section, and I placed first, which was great. And I think at the time I was really upset at like dance and the community and the idea of dance that I had, that I thought, I'm going to be world champion and my life is going to start moving, But that was nothing. I was quite disappointed to come back and find out, Uguti, like, that's not even what my life was. Really just the same. Like I really had to go back and write exams, post grade 9. I mean, yeah, maybe there was an article or two that was written, and that was about it, right? And I was really like having this thing that my life is about to change. Not at all, man. Not at all. And I think I was upset at dance because also at the time I didn't feel like I was growing as a dancer and I was putting all this work. But that year I was very intentional to grow. So I don't think the hours I was putting in. So I don't think the World Championship win in the battle section at the time can be negated, right? It just felt like I'm growing, but I don't feel the growth, if that makes sense. Like I'm doing the stuff that I need to do to grow, but I'm not growing in essence. So long story short, I hadn't danced like that. And I was just looking at something different, new, to get into a place where I can really grow and become this quote unquote household name. And I love entertainment. I love these things. And I just thought that World Championship was a bridge to all of this, which was not. And then I started engaging in social media, right? Going into posting more on Instagram, TikTok somewhat, YouTube. Started my YouTube channel that next year. And just really trying to navigate how I can move and really break barriers into the industry as an actor, as a dancer. What else was I doing? Yeah, as a model even, because I thought I was a sexy broer, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it was just tough. And long story short, I just went to this route where I really missed dance. I didn't know where I lied in the dance scene, because even when I was still in the studio, I wasn't doing a lot of the street dance styles that were happening. So I was really just at odds with dance. Long story short, after my matric year, having done matric, I really wanted to go back to dancing. And as we had it, COVID had happened. So that kind of just shut things down. But then in COVID, I really had this desire once again, not just for dance, but for all the art things that I was doing at the time to really, really lock in. Cool. Sharp. Go through varsity, doing everything. And then now in my final year, I'm like, okay, we need to switch on, bro. In every aspect, whether it was broadcasting, whether it was acting, whether it was dance, like let's dial something. And so in end of 2023, I was like, listen, I really want to go back to dance. If the opportunity comes to go abroad, bet. But I'm not holding my breath. What I really want to do is grow as a dancer. So top of 2024, I'm like, okay, cool, let's just go back, let's have classes, because finance is an issue. development level? Can I just have a young of a handout situation? And yeah, she was like, yo, bro, the dance teacher at the Eunice Murray was like, yo, bro, come through, do some classes. And then there was an opportunity to go abroad. So I was like, yo, this is not what I anticipated. But she's like, yeah, we'll work something out and we'll make it happen. I'm like, I bet, cool. And this was after I had attended the Kryptonite boot camp. And if you haven't seen that vlog, go check it out, of course. But like, yeah, I think that was also the switch on, was when I attended the Kryptonite boot camp in that beginning of the year, and understanding growth and all these things. It's just that also, yeah, man, it is what it is. So then cool, that happened. And then I started attending competitions and I started training, bro. And I had this goal, and my expectation really was to try and make it for the finals for all of those sections that I was doing, right? So the idea was to do my solo sections, and I was doing the production, right? So my solo sections were the popping, the street. It was popping, street, battles, and popping, street, battles, and what? Hip-hop, the hip-hop straight. Yeah, and it was my first time competing in the adult section, because the last time I competed was my last year in the junior section, which was 15 years old at the time. So yeah, the year happens, cool, I want to rock, and I'm training day in, day out. And I want to also just do more than just be a studio dancer. So I'm going to street competitions. From street competitions, I'm also doing gigs here and there, right? So earn money, but also just to like be in the scene and get noticed, right? And I think I've done fairly all right for the year, but I think the biggest thing out of everything was to grow. So it was to attend classes, to do things. And one thing about me, man, is if I do something, just know I'm going to ask for feedback. Just know. So every competition, I'm asking certain people for feedback. I'm asking people, OGs in the dance scene, to like, give me some tips or whatnot, attending different classes, this, that, and the third, just because I really want to grow. And I think it informed a lot, so that to the point where I went to the, when I was doing regionals, more opportunities to attend certain classes came up. And then from regionals to get qualifying into nationals, certain feedback came about the growth and what I could improve on, and so on and so forth. And then from there, then going into the World Championships. Oh my goodness. Now this is where we deep things. So if you don't know, for my hip hop solo, I placed 14th, made it to the semifinals, knocked out in the semis. My battles, I made it to the quarters of the battles, which was the top 8. I was knocked out in the top 8. Unfortunate. And then street show, for the first time doing that section, placed 3rd. Not upset about that. And then for popping, surprisingly enough, I placed 5th. Yeah, I placed 5th, which was also pretty dope. And yeah, the production plays first, right? Yeah. So these were all mind-boggling, because obviously I started as a hip-hop dancer. That's like one of the things that I consider my main thing. But this year I was encouraged to like maybe do popping and cook that a bit more. And I still think there's a long way to go with popping and that kind of dance style. But to have placed 5th in the adult section, to me, was a bit like, okay, maybe I'm doing something right. But also with the hip hop section, like the caliber of dancers there, for me, making it to the semifinals was like, rotting, man. I'm not too bad. The battles, I think it was just subjective. It was a close one. It was a 3-2 situation. It could have been mine any other day, but just not that day. And the guy I battled in that section was great. Like, that was a tough battle, I will be honest. So I'm not upset about that. And then street show, the first time doing street show, placing 3rd. Bro, I'm not too upset. I think the story I told was great. It was just came down to points and the scoring, and it just so happened I came 3rd. And listen, the brews that came first and second, they were dope as well. It is what it is. But yeah, the experience was dope. I feel like I'd learned a lot from there. Speaking to a lot of the guys there, made some really cool friendships internationally. And also having met some of the judges, bro. Like, they were so cool after the competition, just to like, yo, I just went there to greet them and just to say thank you. And they were like, yo, bro, you were dope. Just keep going, keep rocking. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then there was this one judge I had asked feedback from, and it was solid feedback. And we connect now on IG, bro, which is pretty dope. And being exposed to the international scene for dance for me has opened up my mind to be like, okay, be involved, but there's something bigger, bro. Like, really don't limit yourself. And I feel like that's something that was really recharged, because sometimes when you're in a space too long, that's very like constricting. You start to, develop those thoughts and really limit yourself. And having gone to the World Champs was like, yo, bro, that dream you had when you were Ntwana, it's still possible. It's just not happening the way you had dreamt or wanted, Yeah, I mean, obviously Macedonia is a great country. Experienced it very village-like it's very small. But the people there were great. Made some really cool locals which we connect with on Facebook and IG. And yeah, man, like that experience is kind of that. That's the best way I can explain what happened and how I feel about the experience. But there's so much more because of the experiences and the story I'm telling that I might be leaving out, but that I was like, yo, bro, this is hard to articulate. So this is the best way I can. Like, it was a great experience. I learned a lot. And the biggest thing I'm happy about is that I grew as a dancer. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely far better than I was January when I went to that Kryptonite Dance Academy workshop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's kind of the journey, man. I know I spent a bit speaking about the before, but the before really informs a lot about what happened this year and why it means so much to me. And really the love of dance just really lets up for me again this year. And yeah, we'll see where it takes a broer, But that's that, man, on this podcast show. This podcast episode, very short, very sweet. Just wanted to articulate kind of how the journey was, because a lot of people are like, oh, how was it? Now you know, because I think for the people who did ask me, it was very like, what's the word? Underwhelming when they asked, because they were like, oh, how was it? I was like, yo, it was great. And it's not like there was not more to say. There was a lot more to say. I couldn't get past it. It was great, and I learned a lot. That's all I could say. But yeah, that's that. Anyways, that's that on this episode. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, I'm glad you did. Maybe if there's questions you have about my experience there, like leave a comment and I'll answer it on the comment or down below. But yeah, that's that for today. Thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, danko is thank you. Issue.